This is my game review for the Miami Hurricanes and Georgia Tech game. This is Dan White coming to you from my backyard studio in Appling, Georgia. This is my review and analysis of the Miami at Georgia Tech game on Saturday, November the 12th, 2022. Finally, Miami broke through and won a game. Whew! They took the sting out of the Yellow Jackets and the sour taste of 9 consecutive quarters without a touchdown. Miami poured gasoline on the insects' nests and burned it to a crisp with an awesome 35-14 victory at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta.
How sweet it is.
Miami is now 5-5 with 2 games left. They must win one of the 2 in order to become bowl eligible. But I don't see much chance of beating 10-1 and 9th-ranked Clemson this Saturday at Death Valley. Clemson has the largest home winning streak in ACC history, having won 39 consecutive games. But you never know. Strange things can happen in college football. Miami's last game of the season is against a tough Pitt team, and it's at Hard Rock. Pitt is favored. Defeating Pitt will be our only chance to go bowling, and that ain't gonna be easy. Now, back to the Tech game. I'll have some highlight clips later on, so stay tuned. Plus, I'll include some of what Tech's interim coach, Brent Key, said in his post-game presser, and some of what Coach Mario Cristobal said. What a game! What a win against Tech! For once, we never trailed. We took the opening kickoff and marched it right down the field for a touchdown. The able leadership of our rookie freshman quarterback, Ja'Carri Brown, got it done in his first ever start. The team put the blowout loss of losing to Florida State 45-3. They put that behind them in the rearview mirror, and the Hurricanes blew out Tech 35-14. And I credit our offensive coordinator, Josh Gattis, with a brilliant game plan and the players for implementing it. Our freshman dual-threat phenom quarterback, Ja'Carri Brown, had 136 yards passing and was 14 for 19 with 3 touchdowns.
Brown complete. Latson Jr. wrestles his way past the 30.
Check everybody's pride and their attitude. And the attitude has been there by this offensive line here early, winning the battles.
Brown, open man inside the 10 and into the end zone. Will Mallory was wide open, 22 yards and a touchdown pass from the freshman Ja'Carri Brown.
He rushed for 87 yards on 19 carries for 87 yards, and his long was 24 yards. And wasn't it good? Wasn't it good to have the Rooster Jalen Knighton back from injury?
3rd and 5. Knighton up near midfield and a first down.
He rushed for 118 yards, scored a touchdown, and his long was 25 yards. And get this, there were no fumbles in this game. And that's pretty phenomenal too, if you ask me, because Miami is ranked a terrible 127th in the nation in the turnover department with 20. And against Tech, who is known for takeaways, Miami had 0. Now, Tech has created 24 turnovers this season and is ranked second nationally in Power 5. But against Tech, 0 turnovers. Now, defensively, sophomore safety Cameron Kitchens had the game of his life with not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions, including a 99-yard touchdown that was the second longest in Miami history. And that one sealed the game for Miami.
To the end zone, it's intercepted. Intercepted. Kitchens. He may go the distance. Trying to chase him down. It's not going to happen. 99 yards, the return after the interception, and a touchdown. Cameron Kitchens for Miami.
2 of his picks were in the red zone. His 3 picks in one game ties a single-game Miami record, and he now has 6 for the season. Plus, Tyreek Stevenson had a pick in the red zone near the goal line that put the brakes on Tech's drive. Miami sacked Tech's quarterbacks twice and had 9 tackles for loss.
Game, and boy, did they need a huge difference in last week's game, and here he's going to get dropped behind the line of scrimmage, though, Tom.
You're right about last week, though, James. 9 carries, 85 yards.
Coach Kevin Steele's defense took the stinger right out of the Yellow Jackets. And what about punter Lou Hedley? Wow, what can you say about him? He's a weapon. He punted 5 times, had an average of 46 yards, and his long was 51 yards. But most importantly, he pinned the Jackets inside their 20-yard line 3 times. Well, that's going to do it for my game review. And as always, thanks for watching, and go Canes! Stay tuned for a few more minutes, because here are some clips from Tech coach Brent Key, followed by Coach Cristobal. Once again, thank you so much for watching. God bless you, and have a wonderful day. Now, Georgia Tech's interim coach, Brent Key.
Their run game, particularly in the first half, it seemed like was instrumental. And I'm curious if you felt like your defensive front was responding, playing the way you think they can.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a quarterback-driven run game like they did, you become an extra hat. And then you add the read element to it. So there's different things that we worked on up front on the defensive side of the ball to create confusion on their side. To change gaps, to move the front from one way to the other. To be able to play different techniques with the defensive ends, to change the reads of the quarterback, to take away some of those plays. And there were times that we executed the way we're supposed to do. And there were times that, we executed and they made a play. And whether it was a couple of the counter replays with the running back wide to the field where, you're in position and the kid slips right through it and, was able to circle the defense on us. So, the overlap in the defense is something we got to continue to preach and to harp on, and to be able to have those guys when something like that does happen, the overlap in the defense, the other person is coming to get the player down, to get the ball down, and negate the big plays.
And to conclude this video, our own Coach Mario Cristobal.
I think everybody in there is proud of our team for bouncing back the way they did, and just being resilient, showing up to work, and putting together a really good game, almost a complete game. Obviously, we penalized ourselves there at the end for them to score, but got some performances by a ton of guys. Obviously, Jakari got the start, did a lot of good things, and Jalen Knight ran really, really hard. Credit to the offensive line, down 3 or 4 starters and rushed the ball well, allowed 1 sack. And obviously, Cam Kitchens, I think he's had a school record of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Mario, is it possible that Jakari down the stretch?
Well, when you perform that well, that's always going to be the first question. I'm sure you guys had that one loaded and ready to fire out. He did a really good job tonight. So obviously he's a really, really good player. So he's earned a lot.
The physicality up front on the run game for you guys, just from the start was there. That had to be nice to see.
Well, you got a lot of new starters up, right? You've got, you've mentioned it, 3 or 4 offensive linemen that are new, right? We miss Elijah Arroyo, man. I mean, that guy's a really, really good football player. And, you know, freshman quarterback on the road is going to be necessary to protect him, to get the ground game going, and part of the offensive line. And really the coaching staff putting together a game plan that allowed us to be successful and execute it really well.
How much does playing time allow you to add things to the offense, changes around? Like you've got a lot more speed than James or Tyler.
Right. Well, you see, when you watch film, you'll see the difference. It's a different game plan, right? You know, I won't get into all the schematic stuff that's in there, right? We still got to prepare for future opponents and everything else, but he does a lot and he throws the ball really, really well. You know, I think some of the throws that came out wrong were probably being a little bit nervous. Well, this is good to get a road game underneath his belt, make it a victory, and now improve from here.
You guys didn't have Russia in comparison. The way Jamin stepped up into that role tonight, can you speak to that?
Awesome job. And the best part about him is that, you know, he has a lot of pride. And he fumbled, right? Earlier this season, everybody's all, well, play this. But no, let him earn it back. And he did. And he did it by spending a ton of time on ball security, running harder, understanding protection better. I don't think people realize how well he protected tonight as well. They brought corner fire, they brought Mike fire, they brought nickel fire, and he picked them all up, I believe, on the touchdown as well. So just really fired up about Rooster in the way, as we affectionately call him, the Rooster, right? About how he played tonight, but more importantly, how he approached adversity, because that's what our team needs to keep growing. We've got to face this, you know, our circumstances and adversity. We've got to face it and come out and just punch right back. So he's improving. He's improving, getting better and better.
Could he play again?
He's on track to come back and be able to play. You guys love those medical reports. What?
Cam Kitchens, I mean, his night.
3 interceptions.
Yeah, one of them 99 yards.
Well, you know, he's trying to score on the onside kick too now.
Yeah.
He got the appetite for getting in the end zone. So that guy, if you walk into our facility throughout the course of the week, at night, late into the night, he'll be there just watching, studying, bringing in guys with him. He's exactly what you want on your football team. And all that stuff pays off, man. People forget he's only a sophomore, okay? He's only a sophomore, but he does a great job. He took a shot to the shoulder, shrugged it off, came right back in, kept going. Just an absolute stud.
You started off, going crazy with the team before. How they kind of bounced back after the FSU loss. I mean, how did they do that? I guess because it's easy to say just put it behind you, but it's a tough loss. It's hard to shake off.
You do it with reality, you know, in a world where everybody's always head faking and BS, and we just do it with reality. We just talk about the facts. We didn't play well last week. We didn't. And we allowed ourselves to get in a hole, and we didn't shake ourselves out of it. Can't do anything about that anymore. Got to wait till next year for that game. What we could do is show up to practice on Tuesday and show up to meetings early and get to work on the things that allow us to get better. And if you sugarcoat that, you're setting yourself up for disaster. So we won't do that. We're developing, we're growing as a football program, we're building, and that's a really nice way to take a step in the right direction by the way the guys responded and played tonight.
Lou Hedley had 5 punts.
Monster. Lou Hedley's a monster. He is a monster. I don't know if anyone's ever referred to a punter as a monster, but that guy.
I did.
Well, and then we almost had the other one down at the 1 yard line too that slipped out of our hands. But watch how he does it. You know, it's hard to tell where he's going to put the ball because he could roll both ways. He could roll, he could kick it right, he could kick it left. He's a directional kicker that could do it stationary or on the run, and he's like a pitching wedge when you're there in that pooch area, you know, where he could put it down there, and you know he does all that. You know, I don't know. He learned that somewhere. You know, bouncing to the right way for us.
Big picture-wise, you guys obviously a win away from getting the bowl game. The importance of that, do you stress it at all with these guys?
We stress every game as being the most important game we play. I think some things that are obvious, you let them take care of themselves a little bit, but I think it's important to note that team was coming off a big victory, and that team was also fighting for victory number 5. And a lot of respect for them and their coaches and their players. Obviously, you know, a lot of them throughout the years haven't recruited those things, but all focus on us just getting better. You know, and today was a really nice step in that direction.